Hey guys, and welcome to Cruise Buoys Story Time. Time where we can tell you some stories that you won't always see in our videos. So today's story, I want to talk about a certain cruise that we went on in 2023. And I'd have to say, if it wasn't for the reason why we're on the cruise or for the people that we were on the cruise with, I think it would have been probably the worst cruise I'd ever been on. And there was so much going on. So if you want to know more about what happened and something that was very, very inappropriate, make sure you stay tuned. So before we get into the story today, I just want to take the chance to ask you to go to our channel and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps support us grow our channel and bring you more great content as well. So let's get into what actually happened. In 2023, we went on an MSc 4-night cruise from Southampton. Now this cruise was super duper cheap and it included drinks. I think by saying that you can probably guess how the actual cruise went. So I'd have to say that I'd never been on a cruise before where I had seen so much drinking, so many people just getting absolutely drunk and silly. And the things that we experienced were just like, it was out of this world. It's something that I hadn't really experienced before. So on the first day when we embarked, we had a balcony cabin. We went up, got into our balcony cabin, got settled, and next thing we heard an absolute ruckus going on in the cabin next door. And even before we had actually left port, the people in the cabin next to us had already gotten off the ship, had a big bust up, fight, got off the ship, off they went. That wasn't the only thing that we saw from our cabin. That night I went out and had some drinks with some friends while Tristan stayed in the cabin. And quite early in the morning, before I came back to the cabin, Tristan heard a commotion in the actual hallway. And when he looked out through the peephole, he actually saw a female's body being dragged down the corridor. Now this girl was absolutely drunk and her boyfriend was actually dragging her back to the room. I have never ever seen people dragging each other around on a cruise ship. The next day, we got into port and I woke up to an absolute ruckus in the cabin next door. And then when I was sitting in bed, I was trying to film it so people would actually believe how loud it was. So this argument was starting. I could hear snippets of the argument. So it's one of those situations where a couple, so-and-so spoke to so-and-so. And then next thing I heard an almighty crash on the balcony. And as I went out onto my balcony, the people next door were throwing furniture around. So they had a big bust up, had a big fight. And one of them, or both of them, I'm not sure, were actually not there anymore. So they also left their cabin. The interesting thing was that on the last day when we walked past their cabin, we could see bags sitting outside their cabin, but we had had no noise, no sign of life from that cabin. It was so booze fueled, and we sat most nights sort of in the champagne bar. We were doing some functions in a function room next door to the champagne bar, and people were just They were just like animals. They were up at the bar, the way in which they spoke to the bar staff, because the bar staff were only trying to serve one drink at a time per card, per passenger. And as you can imagine, the lines were long, people were getting really, really irate. And so the way in which they were treating the staff was absolutely abysmal. Yelling, screaming at them, arguing, and it was all just because they couldn't get more than one drink at one time. The other thing that we saw on that cruise was where we went down to a bar. It was like about 9 o'clock in the morning, and some guy was just standing there and he's saying, I want 10 of this. And I'm just thinking, mate, it's 9 o'clock. You've probably been up all night boozing, and now you're at the bar and you're boozing again. I mean, the amount of drinking on this cruise was just astronomical. And I mean, you've seen us, we do like a drink, but never to the level where we're absolutely just standing by the bar, just downing. And so many people were doing this. And then you would just see like little fights breaking out everywhere. And that's where where I was standing there, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's like, so what was the inappropriate moment? Well, we know that being on YouTube, we put ourselves out there. We get the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the unexpected. But this situation, regardless if we're known or not, is a situation that I really, really do not condone, and was quite shocked actually. So we have, as I say, people recognize us on cruise ships. They'll come up, they'll have a chat. We love it, absolutely love it. They go and talk to Josh. It's fine. We know that, and we love talking to everyone about cruising. It's an absolute passion of ours. But at this function, I was standing there talking to some people, doing a little bit of sort of hosting, and then I noticed that someone had walked past, and they literally had grabbed my bottom very hard, and then just ran their hand over me and tried to inappropriately touch me. And I just froze, and I was like, that just didn't happen. And I looked at Tristan, looked across, I saw actually Tristan, and I looked across and saw this guy walk off, and he sort of winked, smiled, and walked off. And it took me a while, because I was just kind of frozen there, and I was like, did that just happen? And then I had to tell Tristan. And even to this day, it really, really annoys and disturbs me that people feel like they can go up to anyone and do those types of things without invitation or being invited, or feeling like they have the right to do it. And even today, I still, it just sends shivers down my spine, and it's just not right. It's absolutely not right. So as I said, like, the cruise was ups and downs. The people were with, great. We had the best time with the people that we were with. The rest of the cruise, with the boozing, with other passengers and going on, I just had never seen anything like it. So if you really like these story times, make sure that you give the thumbs up, give us a comment, tell us what you think about, what happened. Do you think it was right? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think you'd enjoy that type of cruise? Now, we do cruise MSC quite regularly, and I'm not saying that every MSC cruise is like this, because it's not. We now need to look at things like, when we're doing or booking cruises, the price, the itinerary, what's included, and the length of it, to try and get a feel whether it's going to be the right cruise for us or not in the future. But if you want to check out more about MSC, because we have had some fantastic cruises on MSC, go and check out this here. Where is it? That there. And you'll be able to have a look and see what we've gotten up to. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. And if you want even more content, why not join us on Patreon? So for now, see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, like, comment, and share.